And what's the best way to find and prepare for them? If you want to be a partisan, I highly recommend you do it with someone that actually knows what they're doing, because partisan is not the easiest thing ever.
Shut up.
You need to know how watchtower coverage works so you don't get caught. You need to know which roads are busy and which ones are not. There's a little bit of know-how that you gotta
What the fuck
have.
is going on here, man?
I really recommend
It's
that
a
you get
QnA, bro.
a more veteran player that has been done it before. But if you don't, the best way to know is just look at a town, a logistics hub from the enemy, and look the town they are supplying, and just choose the smallest route, because that's the most likely that they are going to take. Then you park. Then you go somewhere that there's. Jesus, my fucking talk. You go somewhere that has no watchtowers in radius. The radius of a watchtower is 80 meters, so you need to look around you, make sure there's no watchtowers in 80 meters radius, and then you can just shoot them down. I also recommend you get an SMG, because SMGs do a lot more damage overall compared to rifles, so it's a lot better to use an SMG to destroy trucks than the rifle.
Also, you might some equipment you might want to bring would consist of HE grenades, binoculars, and radios, probably.
Yeah, there's a little bit of know-how. So again, go to your Warden Unity hub, go to the Partisan channel, and SKA. Do Foxholes fall damage bolt? Yeah, they do. If you are really far away and they shoot you, you can tank like 20 shots and be all good. But if you're really close, you can get like bleed with 2.
Yeah,
It's
the same damage drop off.
Yeah, if you get lost doing Logiways is again another thing on Google. It tells you you can click on where you're starting and when you're finishing, and it's going to give you the closest route. It's also going to tell you the roads if they are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3 gives you more speed, tier 1 it makes you slower. So it calculates it and gives you the fastest road possible to take. So if you are interested in all this thing, Foxhole Discord, the Warrant Unity Hub Discord, and then the Logiways, the Foxhole Artillery Calculator on Google for artillery, Logiways, and
Right.
Foxhole Stats. These are all really good things that you can use.
On the damage drop off, a question like if I use the simple rifle and I try to aim an enemy who is in the corner of the screen, so max distance, does it should I shoot, or it will be a waste of ammo because of the damage drop off?
It depends.
Honestly,
if someone is behind the white line, so the white line does not even reach them, you can technically kill them. However, it takes like fucking 10 shots or something like that. So if you two are both, let's say it's only you two, and you're both in an open field with nothing else, you want to shoot him, because if you get up to try to get closer, he's just going to shoot you and you're going to die. So you better just lay there, even though if none of you are doing damage to one another, it's just better. But if he's just too far away and you have a lot of other people with you and you're in the defensive position, just kind of ignore him and wait for him to push to you.
Why you shoot at me?
In general, if you're in a Mexican standoff like that, you want to wait for him to push you. You don't want to push him. But if he starts shooting you at max range, then you also shoot him at max range. Otherwise, you are taking damage. Even if it's just a little bit, he will eventually kill you.
Yeah, thanks. And also in this case, when, let's say, if I'm on the long distance, this kind of shootout with a guy with a rifle, if I'm prone, it helps me to aim, but does it help to cover myself if there is nothing else?
It does not give you cover, but for some stupid reason, it gives you more health. Like, you don't take as much damage if you're proning. I don't know why. It just
strange.
does. Yeah, it just does. Maybe I'm wrong.
You take less damage laying down?
Yeah, you do. However, laying down in general is not that big because you can easily get flanked, and someone just throw a grenade, and you take a lot of animation time to get up. So in general, proning is really only good in really open fields where there's no cover. Then it's where proning is really good. Or if you're I don't know, if you're inside a house and
top
you
of
have
the mountain,
watching the doors, or on top of the mountain, then it's good.
Yeah, and again to the shooting, if me and enemy were on the same elevation, so same level, and let's say I see something in front of me and it's red, so I cannot shoot him. Is it the same for him? Like that he cannot shoot me or not? Let's say there is an object in between.
Most likely, yes.
Not necessarily. Most of the times, yes. But for example, in trenches or, for example, behind in certain places in bridge battles, there are specific ways to aim at an enemy that you kind of need to kind of know the game to know how to aim. But if you don't know them, it's impossible to hit them. But if you do know them, then it just becomes hard to hit them. So
Or
you
like
can be behind cover.
exploiting the hitbox would be like a term
Yeah.
for that. Kind of.
Yeah, so you can be behind cover, and it might be completely impossible for you to hit the enemy. But if the enemy is like a veteran player and knows how to do, in some situations he will be able to hit you back. But this is like one or two situations. Normally, if you cannot hit him, he cannot hit you.
And by the way, I see
hear
yes,
the
there is
succeed
about suppression. Suppression works with MGs or like with other arms also.
Any automatic, any weapon, but I think any weapon. But if it's like needs to be a certain speed, so automatic weapons is where you notice it. If you do with the rifle, it's basically completely like negligible. But for example, if you use the Velcro, which is a semi-automatic weapon, you can kind of see the suppression, but it's really weak. So in general, the faster firing the weapon, the more it does an effect.
With storm rifle, it's possible automatic mode.
Yeah, the storm rifle, the SMG, the heavy machine gun, all of them are good weapons for suppressing.
And
Also,
basically,
you can
people cannot shoot, right? So when you suppress, they cannot shoot back.
No. If they are standing up, they get if they're just in the open, they get a suppression debuff. So they basically aim is worse. But if they are inside of the fence, both the AR of the defense and the person inside cannot shoot you. But that's only if they're in the defense. If they're out in the open, they can still shoot you. They just get like this massive debuff to their accuracy.
Thanks.
More questions?
Yo, what was this weird ass gangbang over here?
We are sacrificing someone.
We're sacrificing virgins.
Oh shit! Let me get in. Let me get in.
I would also like. I am also one of them, so we're ready to die.
Now, hold on.
Anyway,
Fuck's sake,
I
man.
kind of
Come
have
on, there's
a
the one
bit
benefit
of a
of being
question with AI
Sacrifice
and
myself.
stuff.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
I was in a tank earlier, and it was nighttime. So does like nighttime affect AI range?
Yes, it makes it smaller.
Yeah,
Also,
alright,
if-
but about the
you-
sacrifice thing, can all the Fortnite players also get in? Because who are you kidding? You're still a virgin if you play Fortnite, so
Let
get
me-
in.
let me-
I
answer
don't
the
play
question,
Fortnite,
man.
so
Get in.
really quick about AI. If you shoot AI defense, especially for tanks, they get more range. So, for example, if you see an anti-tank turret and you're in a tank, and it might not be able to shoot you, for example, at night. But if you shoot it, it's gonna get a lot more range. It's gonna shoot you back. So if you're really close to it and then you shoot it by mistake, you're gonna start pulling back, and it's gonna shoot you like 2 or 3 times because of that increased range.
I see. Okay,
So-
thank you.
Careful. Tell them about active and inactive AI. Yeah, if you see a structure, and again, I've already taught this earlier, but for a bit, if you see a structure and they have like a flag, if the flag is really big, it means they have AI. If the flag is small, it means they don't. If the flag is white, it means it's being suppressed. Also, the flag, any flag in the game gives you the wind direction. So this is for artillery. If you're doing artillery, any flag in the game indicates the wind.
So piggyback on that. Can I piggyback on that one? In with regards to building foxholes, you want the flag to be kind of facing in the rear of the foxhole. It gives you a slight advantage in the foxhole's kind of rate of fire in the first shot.
Yeah, if the flag is on the side of your defenses, not on the enemy, the foxhole is gonna like activate on the enemy like a couple of seconds, like milliseconds, a little bit.
Yeah,
later,
like
so-
0.4 or something, but it's still.
Yeah, it's a really small thing, but like it's so easy. You just got rotate it, so why not?
Yeah, or in another regard, you can build the boxes in the back. You want the boxes to be facing away from the enemy, like building a foxhole. That's all. Just when you guys are out there building foxholes.
Oh, some important things.
OCD is
When you're building stuff, make sure you're not building things on top or like in front of others. For example, I see people making sandbags on front of a foxhole. The foxhole basically becomes useless because it cannot shoot. Or making watchtowers in front of rifle garrisons, so the rifle garrison cannot shoot. And another one, this one I understand, but players don't know, is if you make like the bunkers can be upgraded to an anti-tank weapon, and if you put an anti-tank weapon and then a rifle garrison in front of it, even though it looks like it can, in fact that anti-tank cannot shoot. So don't put like a rifle garrison in front of an anti-tank bunker. How many people are going to ask what's going on here?
Why are trenches not useful next to AI? I'm curious.
Okay, so basically, trenches are bad even if they have AI. The
Really?
thing with the trench, the thing with the trench is it's a hole in the ground. You can use it as cover, but so can the enemy. So what you want to do is you want to just use rifle garrisons. So what you do is you just make a bunch of rifle garrisons. You make 2 different grids. So for example, you make a 3x1 line, and then you make a 3x1 line directly to its side, and then you connect it with a trench connector instead of a full trench, because the full trench is really big. You can connect it with a trench connector, which is going to make it really small. The less trenches you can make, the better. Like, you are forced to make them, so you have AI, but the less you make them, the better.
Alright.
Because, for example, if the enemy gets inside the trenches, I've seen, for example, they can use the trenches as cover to destroy the AI. They can lob HE grenades to the bunkers from inside the trenches, because those trenches give them cover. So trenches in general are just. So when people say trenches are bad, they don't mean the whole trench system. Like, bunkers are really good, and the AI bunkers are like the best thing in the game. But the piece of trench, the whole, that it's bad.
Trenches as a whole, basically the actual trenches are very, very situational.
There is some things
Alright.
that you can make. So for example, if you make a trench and then you build sandbags on your side, like directly in front of the trench, this prevents, when the enemy gets in, it prevents them from shooting you, because the sandbag is in front. This is like one thing that you can make so the trenches are a little bit better. So if you see trenches, try to build sandbags behind them.
Well, the only downside about having a trench is that the enemy can use it.
Basically, not just that, but they can also be run over by vehicles.
Yeah,
so
that too.
you basically spend a bunch of materials making them, and then the tank just comes on. It's like, ha ha ha, trench goes. Between femboys and tomboys. I don't know the exact distinction. I know it's about gay shit, so I'm gonna.
Tomboys are
pass on
like
both.
girly, guy. Well, fucking like. Oh,
Both
what's like
make
the?
point, so it works out.
Whoa there, buddy. That's kind of sucks. Tomboys are basically manly girls, kind of in a way, and femboys are girly men. So basically, one is amazing and the other one is gross.
I would
as a
just,
bisexual,
I would just
take
like.
offense to that.
I'm gonna just pass on both if I can.
You're gonna pass the ball.
Smart man, good
That's
to
fair.
pass on that.
I just prefer like a girl that looks like a girl. I think. I don't know
I
about you.
prefer. I would like if my
Whatever
female
you
was,
want,
a
but-
female.
Ooh,
I want the
you're
female.
getting onto some fascinating steps there, buddy. You might want to watch what you have to say.
By the way, what the fuck you guys mean? We are fucking.
Alright, who wants some gay sex?
We are
I mean, I'm
soldiers
down for
in a
some gay
fucking
sex.
war. Stop being simps. We are soldiers in a war. Stop being simps.
We are soldiers.
We are a bunch
will
of
not
men and
simp
women
for
that are
Bella.
crammed together like sardines, bro. There's gotta
only
be some love making here.
The only person you can simp for is Callahan.
I concur with that
I
statement.
do like
right
that
there.
beard.
Okay, can we get out of this
actual,
debauchery and continue with the questions?
What,
actual-
okay, here's a
an actual
question. What's your take on trains, on the incoming train meta?
Okay, so first, thanks. Although haven't been absolutely confirmed, they are more than definitely coming. I cannot say anything about them because there's nothing about them. They don't exist, so I cannot say they are good or bad. Like, in general, I want them because it's gonna make logistics better in terms of delivering resources. But because they're not here, I cannot like say because if I know something about the devs, is even if they give you something that seems really cool, they can still fuck it up. When this new update came, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever! They're gonna change tank combat and whatnot." And after my testings and whatnot and changes that they have made, this update just seems like another like kind of a mistake.
I like it. Your
What the heck?
non-answer is
Why is
actually
there
a
so
pretty good
many?
answer. Like,
We're
who knows
fond
what
of
to
it.
expect?
It's a questionnaire thing, my friend.
Like, I will never be surprised with the devs fucking shit up. Like,
Oh, trust me. Yeah, like I've watched this game from fucking day one, and all I see is.
Some devs are
like,
not really
don't get me wrong. The game is a lot better than before. Don't get me wrong.
It really
I,
is, yeah.
And I don't want to be those guys that say that the devs suck. In fact, I really.
It's
For
not
example-
that the devs suck. It's just they do questionable shit
Yeah.
to the game.
They're human.
Like they made an amazing game with an amazing, deep and complex. Not really deep and complex, but a really fun game. And it's just they just kind of make weird decisions about it.
Like
Yeah,
one
I've
thing.
loved it.
Aren't
game.
the
I haven't played
devs
this
in a
much
nutshell,
video
like
game
for every
in
game?
years.
Like
That's
that's what I was
fucking
going to
true.
say. That the devs
Unless
kind
it's
of like.
Minecraft.
It just works like every other game, where basically when a dev makes a change, just like in any other game, and then the people don't like that change, it's really hard for making them go back. But that's like devs in every game. Like going back in a feature, it's just like really hard because you get kind of like this pride thing of the devs, and the devs just go with the thing. It's like, oh, we want to advance forward, so we don't want to go back. That's one, and the second one is like don't giving you numbers. For example, like not giving you information about how the game works behind the scenes, because devs are like, the players are not supposed to know this shit. But then it's really bad.
I fully understand your second point. Your second point is fully understandable. However, the first point, I think, is not so much about pride, but if you're like a fucking dev churning 120 hours on like 1.5 million lines of code, and you have to roll back that feature and just throw your work into the bin, you kind of don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's bad for the game. It doesn't make it good for the game. You can use whatever I'm saying excuse, not in the bad term, but it is an excuse. It doesn't matter if it's pride, doesn't matter if it's because you wasted time on it. It's still bad. For example, some things, for example, the whole armor thing. I'm not going to say which stand I go for, but they first introduced armor and it was just horrible. So now they are going to revamp it, and a lot of people are questioning why. Why don't you just go back? Why are you making so much trouble trying to make armor good when you can just go back and remove armor altogether? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I want armor or if I don't want armor, but that's one example. Instead of just going back, they make like a lot of complicated changes. For example, recently, in case you don't know, the 250mm cannon has been changed, so it's completely fucking useless. It cannot kill fucking garrison houses. It cannot kill anti-tank turrets. It cannot do the one thing that it is supposed to do, and everyone is just asking it to go back. It's literally just changing a couple of numbers, and the devs for like 3-4 days they haven't even mentioned it. And people are just like, why? Just go back. It's just a dumb change.
Well, the timing is suspect. The patch we get a fucking ability to
have a lot of questionable updates and questionable patches that they do every once in a while.
Like with the recent dev stream, I noticed that they kind of said that they were gonna get rid of like angled armor, like. Your strongest armor is going to be at the front, so you want your tank pointed at the front, unless you want to basically get anally raped, basically.
There was never angle armor, like it never worked like that.
Really?
Angling armor never existed.
Okay, basically, hey, Lidus, basically you want to think about this like basically D&D. You got armor, you got dice, and if your armor is good, your dice limit is basically higher.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That kind of wasn't the armor basically like you pointed directly at me. I played D&D pretty consistently, so.
But basically, with the new armor. With the new armor update, when I saw the dev and when everyone saw the dev, the actual like dev stream, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is so good" and whatnot. And in general, on paper, they sound really fucking good. But then when you actually go for the numbers and you start thinking about how the game works, in theory it's good, but then in practice it doesn't become so good. The first thing is the armor just decays so fast. You take like 3 or 4 shots and you are out of armor basically, which means that you're gonna basically need to go back to a garage every 5 minutes to replenish the armor, because you cannot do it on the field. That's the first thing. So basically you either fight without armor, making the whole thing completely useless, or you have to, in 5 to 5 minutes, cross an entire region to get your armor back. That's the first thing that's like super dumb. The second one is an old one, which is the field cannons. Like I said before, field cannons are stronger than tanks and like so much cheaper. Like we did a test, a field cannon versus a light tank, both shooting one by one, like one shot, then the other one shot, the other one shot. It was at 40 meters max range from the front, so the tank has all the bonuses because the tank can bounce while the field cannon can't. And the field cannon still won with like 40% armor health left. So right now, like the changes are generally good because it breaks the meta of like line combat from max range. It encourages flanking and close combat. So in general, it's all good. But right now, tanks themselves are useless. So like tank-to-tank combat is better. I agree. Besides the whole armor decaying too fast. But besides that, Like tanks themselves are kind of useless. The only thing that was really useful was the ballista, which they nerfed, so it's useless now. So right now, making a tank is basically useless. Fight me.
Huh.
Decaying mechanic. Okay, so decaying mechanic, basically, when you build something after 1 or 2 days, whatever, it's going to start losing health. To prevent this, you need to build it near FOB, bunker base, or one of those stuff. So like the range of the AI is the same range of the decay, and if it's in one of those things, you then need an upgrade to prevent decay, and then you need to give it supplies. The more buildings are connected to that bunker, the more supplies they consume. The supplies are the garrison supplies and the bunker supplies. So instead of the buildings losing health, you start losing those garrison supplies. If you run out of supplies, then you start losing health back again.
You should also, for new players, you should also try googling the word national anthem.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Also, a thing I've noticed with kind of the newer players, and also veterans alike, a lot of the veterans aren't really willing to. I guess some of the veterans that I've seen are just not willing to really teach them like what to do and what not to do, which I think is kind of an issue. Because it kind of straight makes people not want to play the game. I've noticed.
Two things. Yeah, about that, I agree and I disagree. I agree and I disagree. I consider myself like the biggest teacher in the Warden faction right now, at least from what I've seen. I'm the guy that like mostly doing this stuff and teaching. But I know there's other people that I've met. So I know I'm not the only one. In general, about the teaching, you're gonna see that like veterans on the front line are not like teaching, more like screaming at people, like don't do this, don't do that. If you want to consider that's teaching or not, but it is teaching. Like don't use RPGs on infantry. It is teaching, but not in the best way. But right now, a lot of the veterans are just not in the game, and the ones that are kind of like burnt out, so they just don't have the
I understand that.
mind for it. And it also becomes to a personal level. Like some people just don't want to have to deal with new players and like be teaching them whatnot when they can be doing whatever they want to do. For example, I just enjoy teaching, so I just come here and I teach people. So it depends on person to person, not the whole vets in general. As you can see right now in here, there's a bunch of other people of high rank, captains and whatnot, and they're all here giving tips and whatnot. In general, in this home region, because we are not in combat, you're gonna see players being more like friendly and more open. When you're in the actual open field, you don't have like time to be teaching stuff.
That's a good point.
Like I tried, for example, doing on-field teaching. I tried it myself and it just didn't work because I was just like, you do this, you do that, and whatnot. And I was still trying to like teach them like why I was saying them to do this, but I wasn't teaching them the mechanics. I was telling them to do stuff, and in my opinion, that's just a bad way to teach. So teaching on the field, it just doesn't seem the best, unless it's like something small. Like, okay, I'll teach you artillery really quick. You got in the gun, you changed the azimuth here and whatnot. You shoot. Okay, you good? Let's go. But that's just like one small thing. It's not like teaching you the entire game.
All right.
More questions?
Maybe any tips for mortar use? Like, what will be the good case to use it?
First, you need to know the wind, how the wind works. Second, I recommend a spotter. You can do it alone, but having a spotter is always good. And I really like to use a jeep to carry more ammo. So normally it's me, a spotter, and the jeep. The really heavy part of the mortar is the mortar itself. So you can only carry like 4 to 5 shells. But the shells are quite they're not heavy. They are what's the opposite of heavy? Fuck my English.
Light.
Yeah, light. They're quite light, so the spotter can carry like a full inventory of extra shells. And then you can put the jeep on the jeep. You can put even more shells, and then you can use the jeep for transportation, so you don't have to hold your super encumbered ass over. Besides that, about the aiming itself, you just gotta play with the winds and kind of learn by playing.
Yeah. No, I do like mortar with the body, but it's more a question like in what situation is like better to use it, like, or do we just randomly use it when we want, like for
depends on the shell you would be using.
Yeah,
honestly.
So if you're using shrapnel, you want to aim for places where there's a lot of people. So for example, behind sandbags, inside trenches, stuff like that. If you're using shrapnel to kill people.
Could I butt in?
If you
He might be asking what context, like if you're on a static front where there's not much movement, maybe like a bridge battle or whatever. That's where mortars shine when you're not pushing forward and back too hard. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's what he's asking with what kind of combat context.
Yeah, that's more for the shrapnel. About the HE one, it's good for static defenses, but like not like tier 3 bunkers, but like tier 2 bunkers. Sometimes destroying bridges, destroying anti-tank turrets. Like the biggest combo, not the biggest, but like one of the most common combos you're gonna see is infantry killing anti-tank turrets and the tanks killing the anti-infantry defenses. And one of the ways you kill the anti-tank turrets is either RPGs or you use the mortars. So that's a good example of using a mortar.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like you can still kill with HE, like infantry with HE and whatnot. It's just not as effective as the shrapnel.
It's not that it's effective. It's not worth it because it's too expensive. It's like killing infantry with anti-tank weapons. Sure, you can, but you're wasting more resources than you're getting out of it when you can just use a normal rifle.
The best, really, for now, the best way to push up front is the artillery. The static artillery. It's really cheap, and the damage is fucking absolutely amazing. And if you get like 3 guns shelling one place at once, they can
Commissar, this is a QnA, just so you know.
The artillery is really good for 2 reasons. Besides the high body counts that you can kill, it's also really good as a suppression because it makes people go into trenches and just halts any advance that they are doing. So even if you're not killing because they're all in defenses, you're making them be in those defenses. So if you're getting pushed, you just throw artillery on them. You're gonna basically annihilate any push. If they have tanks, the tanks can kind of ignore the artillery, but then the tanks don't have any infantry support, so you can easily kill the tanks.
They still can get tracked. That's the fun
they can get tracked. That's one thing. They still can get tracked, but in terms of damage itself, it doesn't do much. Again, artillery is more of a support thing than anything else. But it's really good.
Put artillery inside the hexagonal trench because it's a lot better than it's like the durability of the artillery gun is doubling in just 1 fucking minute. You need only 10 HEs for artillery gun outside of trench, and you need 40 on the level 1 trench. So that's a lot of fucking changing.
It gives it a lot more health. Although I agree 100%. Normally artillery is way back in the back lines, but still it's worth it. I've killed, for example.
Spotted the border base for Lockheed. We just blew up fucking Lockheed. Spotted the border base for Lockheed right now. Let's fucking go.
Oh, all right, let's fucking go.
Okay. More questions?
Maybe since we speak about this, like support weapon, any tips for MG? Like what the situation is best? Like should they use it in foxholes or?
Yeah, MG, you're super exposed from the sides and the back, so and grenades and whatnot. So an MG should always be inside a defensive structure, like getting inside foxholes, rifle garrisons and whatnot. And get a gas mask, and you're basically super, like you're immune to anything. If you're inside a rifle garrison, they cannot kill you with bullets. They cannot kill you with gas because you have gas mask and filters, and you can just stay there and basically just fucking pummel everyone. You're also really heavy with the machine gun, so being in a static defense just negates the weight.
Does it make sense? Let's say it's night, and I was in situation. I was in the bunker with MG and the filters and everything, and I see enemies like somewhere, on the border of this, fog. Like, does it make sense, like, to try to shoot like something, like or it's a waste of ammo, or I just should wait until I really see an enemy?
Yes and no. Basically, when the enemy shoots and he's in the darkness, you can see the flash of the gun on the night. If you have a heavy machine gun, sure, go ahead, because it's really easy to kill them. However, you gotta take into consideration that they cannot see you, and the moment you shoot, they can see you and they can shoot you. So if you are a rifleman out in the open and you shoot, especially if you're like proning or crouching, get ready to get to like 4 people to shoot you back. So you either want to stay mobile, like you shoot once and you move and you shoot, so you're basically impossible to hit, or yeah, if you're inside the defense with a heavy machine gun, then you just go ham, because even if they shoot you back, you're hiding in the defense, so it makes no difference.
And by the way, what is this tripod plus heavy machine gun?
Wait, what's the question about the machine gun?
No, there is someone like posted in chat like tripod plus Yeah. What is this meta?
But yeah, I don't know exactly if he means there's a nuke weapon that's like a machine gun that needs a tripod. I don't know if he is talking about that. If he's not talking about that, he's talking about tripod weapons that are normally really exposed to infantry. So if you get the machine gun near a tripod, then you can protect the tripod from infantry, and the tripod can protect you from whatever the tripod is supposed to kill.
And this anti-tank stuff, I don't know how it's called for tripod. Is it like actually crap or not?
The bone saw, yeah, it's crap. The bone saw, it's crap. Yeah, the mounted one, not as much because the mounted one is really.
Guys, spawn at the border base, Lockheed. Spawn at the border base, Lockheed. We
За нас всех дебилов слили, вы поняли?
Follow me. Let's go.
So the mounted one is really cheap.
Ебальник свой закрой, замолчи.
Because it's supposed to kill tanks. Oh my god.
Captain, sorry to interrupt, but like,
guys, if you want to mute someone, press Alt and.
why is everyone here?
On your screen.
We need to win a war.
You want
Not
to
instead of like fucking doing
It
nothing.
will come up a little bracket will come up. Voice you have like.
If you want to win a
This is
war
why
by
we lose
fighting,
war.
yeah, if you want to win a war by fighting, you can go ahead. No one is stopping you. The people are here are just listening and trying to learn.
Alright, man. Alright,
Do you
man.
have a
Good luck.
plan? What is the reason here? Please
Okay.
tell me.
Any more questions?
Да.
Pastor speaking.
Yeah. Any more questions,
Yes.
boys?
Такой вопрос. Что вы здесь делаете?
I didn't understand a single thing you said.
Короче, он говорит, кто не с нами, тот под нами.
Yeah,
Понял?
don't feed the little tiny kitty trolls. Just mute
It's
them.
good that we learned today how to mute with alt.
Okay. So someone
Yeah,
was
you can
asking.
practice muting right now, the NKVD guys. Sorry, go ahead, Darko.
Я тупой, да? Русский не знаю.
Hey, what is going on here?
I have question.
We're doing a QnA session.
Okay, so someone was asking about how to solo a tank. You kinda can't, it's really hard. The best way is to just run up to him, and if he's unlocked, you just get in the driver's seat and steal the tank. But if it is locked, it's really hard to kill a tank on your own.
Молчи. Тихо. Ты тоже молчи. Минута молчания.
Everyone is like just free to
Минута
go.
молчания, молчи.
You can stay here.
Shut up.
I prefer you guys knowing how the game works, like wasting you like a couple of hours here, understand how the game works, and then go. Then you just going there. He's like time like not doing anything, and being like, oh, I just died a bunch of times. I don't understand the game. I'm just gonna quit playing.
You just keep in mind that combined arms is the key to kill tanks, you know? Like stickies, then a tank rush up, then artillery, etc.
Yeah.
What happened?
Use it as a combination, you know what I mean?
Вы не
How do
можете
you use
прикрыться
anti-tank
нормально.
mines effectively? Anti-tank mines, there's not a one way use them. Basically, you just want to put them or where you think the enemy is going.
I
So
think
if you have a big open
it's
field, they're
for-
kind of
it's-
useless because
it's
they can just
for,
go around
guys.
them. But if it's like a really choke point, then you can put a bunch of them.
That's why we don't work with the Russians.
Tank mines are not really good. I wouldn't say they are good for killing tanks unless the tank crew is just like dumb and doesn't have infantry support to see them. They're more for area denial.
If you get some friends with you, like 4 guys, you can press and stand next to each other. You can put 4 mines in one place, so you can pretty much one-shot a tank, any tank really.
Yeah, but like you
needs
can't.
a lot of resources on one place.
And it's not just that, it's a thing of like, a tank can literally just go around it. A mine is only good if the tank cannot see it. And the only, and normally when a tank dies to a mine, is one of 2 things. Either, 3 things. Either the game was bugged, and they couldn't see the mine for some reason, like it was invisible. 2, they were just being plain dumb. And 3, like they didn't have infantry support to tell them where the mines were. But if they don't have infantry support, then you don't need mines, you can just sticky rush them.
Oh, sticky rush. Oh.
Yeah, best use of mine we saw yesterday in Deadlands.
I saw yesterday like the People just cover the entire city with mines, which is super dumb because mines despawn like 48 hours later. So if you go there like today or in a couple of days, they're just gone. Also, it takes a lot of resources and someone's time to do all of that, so it's more of a meme than anything else. It's like those people that write messages on the map with watchtower saying like dick or vision or something like that. It's more of a meme than anything else.
Dog shit game.
Brava.
Yeah, the game is really shit. That's why we're all here. More questions?
Yes.
Also, don't put mines if you have a lot of your own armor, because mines work both ways. So if you put a mine in it, your tank goes over it, it kills it. So you know, I've seen people put mines behind the tank. Like you have your tank, and a guy just goes, puts a mine behind it, and the tank reverses, and boom, it's gone. And you're just like, why?
We don't have friendly mines.
Yeah, friendly mines and friendly barbed wire does not exist.
Isn't.
Oh yeah, I've already muted them. I don't know what you're saying.
Oh
but I
yeah,
muted.
guys, in any case you're annoyed of him, you could hit F1, the first name, then
You can just alt click as well.
Yeah,
You can just alt click.
works. Or if
Thank
you
you,
hate him
choose.
that much, you could report him and give him a break for 1 hour.
You should write that in text chat because those guys can't hear you because they are screaming in the voice chat.
On behalf of normal Russian players, guys, sorry for this.
I'm speaking, let go!
As I will say, I don't like judge people like by the group they belong to. If someone is an ass, they are an ass. Doesn't matter what group they belong to. So I'm not gonna judge him because he's Russian. It's just like I say, if I do something bad, I don't want people being like, oh, of course he did something bad. He's from 82DK. No, it's like, no, he's bad. Like not his clan. See a lot of people being like, oh, 82DK sucks or Siege sucks. Like Siege always loses. Like no, fuck that shit.
And if he's Brazilian?
Yes, meaningful.
I couldn't understand. Can you repeat?
Okay.
Okay. More questions, people? By the way, thank you for the comments, whoever is giving me. Thank you.
Here comes another command storm.
No.
Here it comes.
I don't do this for the comments. Shut the fuck up.
Major.
Oh my
Let's
fuck!
go.
You
Let's
had
go.
to talk. You fucking
Come on,
had to
guys.
talk. Shut the fuck. Stop. Stop.
Here it goes.
It goes Major by then.
Oh no!
Let's
Shut up,
fucking
Yoon.
go.
Oh, I'm gonna get you back now, Yoon.
Find the person. Right click on the person you want to
Seriously, I don't need it.
press
Thank you.
command 3 times.
No.
so he gets
no.
I like-
Major
I like
goes
being
to
a
the door.
captain.
Let's fucking
Like,
go.
Like Major
don't have
is
that
so
type of-
boring. Like Major is so boring. Captain is like the
Okay,
best
so basically
ring.
captains
Yeah.
always have the combat roles. When you hit Major,
What's going on
gaming
here?
now.
Like, Captain is the second best role. Like the only role better than the captain is Field Marshal. Just so you can like, just so you can like fucking go to someone who's like, yo, shut the fuck up. I'm a Field Marshal. I have 10,000 hours in this game. I'm a fucking degenerate. But besides that, captain is the best role.
I have 10,000 Foxhole hours. I have done nothing but play Foxhole for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's basically a Field Marshal.
On s'en bat les couilles, de la taille de la bite. C'est ce que tu fais sur le terrain qui compte.
Gentlemen, do you agree that the war is over?
No, the war is
No, it's not over. It's not over, guys.
We're gonna lynch them!
Fucking.
Where's the commissar? Shoot him!
Yes.
Shoot him!
I am
He's not dead. He's not dead, guys. He's not dead.
More questions?
Is it still possible to talk to the enemy?
Only Jesus, so many people. Only with chat, local chat. You cannot listen to them like their voice. Like I kind of find it funny that almost no one here is from the beginning of my training session. Everyone has left, so people are basically just coming in and then leaving, and more people come in. So the people that are here, like I'm the only person that is here from the beginning, basically.
The infinite loop.
I have a question. Holy shit, what's going on here?
They used to have
QnA.
Used to be able
If you
to
have
talk to
questions about the
enemies
game,
in voice chat back in the day.
just ask. We're just having a good time right now, so.
Why do we lost so much of the map?
Come from?
Wait. What's the question? Why we lose so much of the map? There's a rule about the wardens that is you either win.
Hey
until
guys, shut the fuck up. This is Walrus now. He's new to the game. Someone show him the ropes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just come in and we are talking, giving you a bunch of information. Just listen in. How we lose so much territory. So the warden rule is you either win by day 10 or you lose the war. Right now it's day like 11 or 12. So because we've passed the 10-day mark, we are already lost. Just kidding. But it's not true, but at the same time it is true.
It's a curse.
I started saying that on Reddit 3 months ago, and now everyone's saying it. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, we are a defensive nation, guys. We need to defend. We cannot attack.
There is no way to defend.
Oh, it's fucking meta shit.
Yeah.
The best defense is Warden Bayonet Charge.
Yes.
The saying is win in 10 or get slogged for 20, but yeah.
Now, I'm saying this as a meme, by the way. It's a meme,
yeah.
Don't take it seriously.
But there is a kernel of truth to it, especially back, the Ballista is still here.
Yeah, the Ballista is here.
The High Council approves of this.
Like, the Ballista hasn't been nerfed. Oh yeah, everyone that's on top of the sandbag can be the High Council.
So,
High
the
Council
High Council consists of mostly captains and major generals, plus a private and a lance corporal.
Privates. I have a question.
They lost Lockheed. Yeah, what's the question?
When you shoot your own guy, let's say, do you like immediately receive some penalty or something like that? Because let's say sometimes situations like you need to shoot a guy because he's stuck. I don't know.
Boys, we could be way in the war right now if all of you guys were helping. Just saying.
Yeah, basically.
Yesterday, my friend, he got stuck in trenches, so he had no way to get out. So we spent like some time to get him out, but.
Yeah, basically the way it works is if you kill like a really big number of people, then you get weapons restricted, so you cannot use weapons for a couple of time. However, even if you kill like a small number, like let's say 2 or 3, if people start like vote, like not voting you, what's the name? Like reporting you.
Reporting you.
Yeah, like if someone's like, oh, this guy killed me, everyone reporting, and then everyone starts reporting you, then you can get like a banned, like or like the actual game, like for 1 hour or something like that.
I see. Yes,
in general, if you team kill by accident, there's no big deal. For example, we were doing artillery, and then ATT2DK decided to charge on a bridge that we were using artillery on, and we got like one of our guys got like 20 team kills, and everyone was like, "Please, it was a mistake. Do not report him," and he didn't even get weapon restricted. Why don't we run anti-tank guns, etc., instead of tanks? Anti-tank weapons. So if you're infantry and if you have an anti-tank weapon, it's really hard to kill a tank. You're gonna die really quickly, and you're probably gonna lose the weapon. So anti-tank weapons right now they are not like super effective. The most. Yeah, the best thing is the wheelchair that Major General is over there. The wheelchair is the field cannons. There are, again, I was saying before, we call them wheelchairs, and wheelchairs are super fucking overpowered. So if you're infantry, if you're infantry, you can use a rocket, but if you have 2 guys, you can use a wheelchair, and the wheelchair is just so much better.
Yeah,
you just need 2 people.
We destroyed like 8 tanks with like I guess 3 wheelchairs. It was like well all together. So
at night the downtown of Foxhole, 5 high velocity field cannons can one tap a Spafa.
Yeah, our logic focus on. Yeah, basically the reason basically you don't see a lot of wheelchairs in the front is because it's something that it's like the veterans know about them and how OP they are, but also because like people just don't like to use them because it's like what do you want to do? You want to be in the tank or you want to be in the fucking wheelchair? So that's why people don't spam them, and that's why it's not the biggest deal. But if you are in a tank and the enemy has a wheelchair, get ready to get fucked.
Yeah, be careful at least. You can take them out, you just gotta know how to use the shells.
The high velocity 68mm the Colonials have. They can
Oh,
pick
that's
up,
that's fucking depressed. That's that's OP.
Fucking LTD. Now they have the
No, the high
fucking
velocity
wheelchair.
58mm field.
Yeah, I know. Before it was just the LTD that had a 45 range with. Now they have 2 options.
You're gonna play the
Honestly,
meta.
I would say I'd
Case the
ban
meta
tank
right now
attack.
is field guns. Late war, don't spam tanks, spam field guns.
Yeah, I
Or
know. It's just
incorporate tanks at
it'd
the
be nice if
tank.
we could have a 45
Field guns at the center.
meter AT weapon.
have a
That'd be
we have a-
real
Oh,
nice.
we have
have
one.
a
We have one.
80
The high velocity
60mm range tank.
Yeah, 40 Miller, bro. It's not exactly
Yeah, at least we have
taking out
something.
tanks left and right.
Well, actually,
It's
with the
totally
next
bias all over again.
with the next update, the 40mm is the most high damage gun in the game. They basically made it so the
That's good to hear.
68 does more penetration, while the 40mm does more raw damage.
I guess it depends on what they're doing with armor.
Yeah, like the 40mm can two-shot almost every tank. It can definitely two-shot immobilize, like disable, but it can actually two-shot kill entire tanks. Like that's so like like we shot it against HDD, the heavy tank destroyer, and it did like 40-something% health. It's just like crazy strong.
LTD could counter it though with its like pop in, pop out speed, which the wheelchairs don't have.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the meta.
No.
Yeah, they
HDD,
do have the same range.
No, HDD. I'm talking about the Warden one, the heavy one, the really slow one.
Dev branch. It's on the dev branch.
Yeah, I'm talking about the dev branch. Yeah, but moving on. You guys, questions? Don't be shy.
How do I
Come on.
use the knife?
Where do babies come from?
You don't have a knife. You have a bayonet. Babies.
Is it ever your mom last night? I left. Is it ever
yeah.
good to go into enemy territory to fuck up with their supplies?
Oh, if you guys want to learn Partisan, you can go with him. Babies come from Steam sales. That's where babies come from.
Oh
Babies come from collies. Because collies are fucking cunts.
Steam sales make my fucking job of teaching players so hard. I remember when I used to do this, like back in the day where like we didn't have massive populations, I would do like a class with 3 people and I'd be like, yay, I taught 3 people today, I'm so happy. And now I just come here and it's like fucking classes of 20 or something like that. I'm like, fucking hell. And every time I come here, there's always more noobs for me to teach. And I'm like, well, at least I'm not out of job, but at the same time, it makes my job so much harder.
Guys,
Teacher's pension.
Guys, cool tips. You can actually do emotes with like 4 to numbers zeros.
Yeah.
So you can like press 0 and see you'll do some kind of.
Don't press 9. 9 is the bad one.
Another button.
I have a question about the bushes. Maybe I missed it.
Everyone starts pressing 9. Sorry.
When you sit in the bush, let's say with a, I don't know, a big gun or machine gun, and the gun is sticking out of the bush, like, are you still considered covered or not?
No. Basically, when you are inside the bush, you become completely invisible. Like, even if like half of your body is outside, as long as you have the eye with the red line below your stamina bar, you are completely invisible.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for the field cannons. If a field cannon just like touches a bush with a wheel, even if most of the field cannon is outside, it still becomes invisible.
There's a lot of useful little icons at the top left underneath your stamina bar that'll pop up every now and then. That'll tell you, oh, you're bleeding, oh, you've been slowed, etc., etc.
Yeah. Well, below your stamina bar, it's gonna show like all the buffs, debuffs, or status effects. The ones that I'm remembering right now is bleeding, being in concealment, so the eye with the line, being with mud, being like your heat if you're in a storm, so if you're cold or if you're hot, and then the 3 tank subsystems being tracked. That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't know. Oh, if you over encumbered as well, encumbered as well. Probably there's 1 or more too, but I'm not remembering.
Gas mask.
Oh. Yeah, gas mask and the light. So if someone has a flare during the night, you also get a pop up there. So actually, would be cool if someone would do like a screenshot with all the fucking things. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
like all the status buffs in the game. Like
status buff slot machine.
You are freezing. You are muddy. Yes,
it would be impossible though.
Yeah,
you cannot be
get
have mud. Yeah, you cannot have mud and have mud and like. Oh no, you can have mud and then being near a fucking.
Yeah, this is super meta for the new guys, by the way. If you have,
Yeah.
Getting all the stats effects. Gotta catch them all.
Battleships when battleships are coming when the devs feel like it.
I want my shit.
Guys, what war is this anyway?
Yes, if you aim at the corners of your screen, you can see further. You can then use the middle mouse button to rotate your screen. So if you rotate your screen until the corner is where you want to aim, and then you look at the corner, then you can see a lot further away. Yeah, this is War 79. The wars that are most important is number 1, which we won, number 69, which we won, number 19, which we lost, and we are waiting.
It's a depressing war.
We are waiting for War 82. 82 is going to be a really important war because it's from my clan. War 420, we are still waiting for that one, and War 666.
Yeah,
we are winning this one too.
Yeah, don't worry. We're winning. Don't worry.
We are winning all the wars.
Why was 19 important?
Because it was one of the most,
I don't want to go.
So, like, it had a lot of death, and it was crazy. There's a search up.
The War is Civil War.
There's
a documentary.
There's a great doc. It's really well done.
Yeah. War 19 is like one of the most impactful wars in terms of like the story, the player-driven story. So if there's at least 2 documents. I really like the one that's like separated into 3 parts. It's like each part's like 20 minutes, so you can just like binge watch that, and it's a really interesting like seeing what happened in that war because it's a really interesting war. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because it would take a long time, and that's not
What are we all doing here?
Teaching and the QnA.
Oh yeah.
Recommending that goes.
I love how people are just like
on the front line.
People already know that other people are gonna ask what's happening, so they already have the Control V ready to just write Q&A. You already know.
You know it.
More questions?
What is Matt doing?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
If you have an ultra wide, you're gonna see further if you aim up and down rather than to the corners.
Oh really?
Okay, there's a resolution that'll help you. There's a certain resolution.
No, really, it's all about the scaling up your game.
We see another person just asked Q&A session.
Q&A.
If you have questions about the game, feel free to ask the veterans.
Make a side post that it says Q&A.
Yo, we cannot. We cannot
you
build this area.
build here.
No, actually,
Sadly.
we start our game and have our names, questions, and answer. 3 people on top of the pedestal.
For a time, I was thinking of making a teacher clan or something like that, or making like a tag on my name so people could recognize me as a teacher, but I had no clue how to do that. I even was thinking like, can I like ask the devs like change the home island something for teachers, but then I was like, nah, it's never gonna work. So yeah, I'll just do this.
Well, don't you like to wear the help
the
tag?
devs are never gonna do it.
On your Steam, you already have the DK on the regiment name. You could also add like the.
Yeah, but I would add what? Like, what would I add? Like, if I like a cross or a star makes sense from officer and medic, but what would you put as a teacher? Like a book?
Yeah, a book.
Yeah. No, remember the help organization before? People used to like that tag.
Oh no. I could put it like training, like change my Steam name to like drill sergeant or something like that, or teacher, but
Guys,
make it
I saw Bear videos. He makes great content on Foxhole.
Sure. SMG are much cheaper to produce. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, someone made a question. Yeah, my bad. SMGs are cheaper, and also the technology for SMGs it's much sooner than the storm rifle. In general, if I can choose between one of the 2, I will always take the storm rifle though.
Yeah, you have the option of semi-automatic fire and fully auto, so you can fight both close and long range quite decently.
Yep. More questions?
All around a great weapon. Also, good recommendation: when you hop into a trench with a bunch of enemies in it, with the storm rifle or SMG, just fire. Do not stop firing. Just fire. Yeah, just non-stop.
Yeah, I wanted to put that meme, but I don't have a soundboard. This TED Talk is a Q&A session for new players.
Yes, very good. Well, see ya.
More questions? You're stuck. Once you get in, you cannot go out.
Bicycles, how do you get them?
Bicycles spawn at random near town halls and cities in general, and you can just yank them.
Safe houses, mostly. Are there
Safe
any
house.
groups that only
Warehouse.
use bicycles?
The church.
Oh. What was the question, Nor?
If I want to join a brigade with only bicycles, how do I do that?
You make one because the doesn't exist.
You
Yeah,
make
no.
one, yeah. You make one if you
should
want.
make one for yourself.
The problem with bicycles
Definitely.
is they make noise. If they didn't make noise, they would be perfect, but partisan work.
And if they were a little bit faster on grass.
It wouldn't make sense if you can just like super speed off-road with a bicycle.
Yeah, it'd be OP.
I think they're
I mean, a
super
little
cool.
bit like faster than regular. infantry
Actually, they
war.
could do a ghost division, have like 12 dudes with RPGs or cutlers, have them all use bikes, and open a front line.
That
They'll
could
send
work,
in
yeah.
tanks while you... Actually, we did that. There's a video of it. Look for it on
Bike
YouTube.
battalion.
Yeah, did you watch it?
So, what's going on here?
Come on,
Just talking.
print the Q&A, boys. Print the Q&A. Q&A session teaching new players. If you're interested, just make your questions.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Why do I keep getting so many commendations for just standing around? I only started playing like 2 days ago.
What?
Uh,
Motherfucker's already a staff sergeant. What the hell?
I know. I'd be standing around and I see the left side of my screen light up, yeah, with a shitload of commendations. I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
Do you use your mic a lot?
Yeah.
Then that's why people tend to give a lot of comments that people to talk. Like if you're silent and you're basically not talking at all, like no one's gonna notice you, so no one's gonna give you comments. But if you're talking a lot, it already gives like a kind of a spotlight. So when they want to comment someone, it's gonna be you because you've been talking.
Like the good talk. Let's say that somebody tells me you're leading people more than just yelling or you know.
Yeah, if you're
noises.
if you're just putting music.
I did lead a couple of raids against Reef back when we lost our actual, which is retake Reef.
But if you play music, you were banned forever.
Yeah, you'll get muted, and then when people won't hear you when you are actually trying to be useful and helpful and stuff.
Yeah. If you play music,
Just
it's
like
like
music, man.
sometimes you get a lot of comments by playing music. Sometimes you just get super muted, and then you're fucked because you cannot talk to anyone. I've had times when like some French guy comes to me and the people are like, dude, he's talking to you, and I'm like, oh, what? I have you muted, and stuff like that.
I always have Churchill speech on my
Hey, look,
soundpad.
it's Tinky Winky. Hello, Tinky.
I think music is good for like resistance phase and right at the end of the war maybe. Otherwise,
have we lost this war?
what I'm doing.
A soundboard is really good for like memes. If you just like put like small memes that take like 2 seconds, and it's good. But if you're just like blasting music all the time, then people are gonna mute you.
one
what was
exception,
the question?
a school bus driver, but that's it. That's it.
Oh yeah, school bus drivers are really cool.
Excuse me, can I get out? I want to go to
No, you cannot. Once in, you cannot go out.
Part of the crew. Part of the ship. Part of the crew.
I'll start saying offensive things. Let me in.
You can just jump the sandbag. You can just jump the sandbag. Over there.
I can't get over to the sandbag.
Sandbags.
I can't get out.
Better.
Any questions?
I made it out.
I've got a question.
Go
How do you
ahead.
tell what rank you are?
F1. F1, it's gonna give you your rank, your level, and your communications. If your communications is not good, then uninstall the game and never play a game because you are a toxic player.
Yeah, I have good communications.
Your level
You
also
hacked
doesn't.
into do.
Oh wait,
Actually
I'm
get bad
level
communication.
17, boys. I'm level 17. I finally can be a veteran in fucking Warrant Unity Hub. Nice.
Do you wanna vouch?
How do you level up faster?
Level up is by doing logistics, but no one cares about your level. The only thing that level matters is you need to be level 17 to be considered a veteran in the Discord of Warranty Unity Hub, which I just got, so that's why I was happy.
And
Alright,
get a
congratulations.
ping Bram for it now. Huh.
Congratulations.
Generally, as a medic, is dire situation, how should you triage? Okay, so if you have multiple people that are bleeding, you want to just like left click on each one of them to stop the bleeding. Not healing them all the way up, just like stop the bleeding. Because if you just heal someone up, the other two are going to bleed out. That's the first thing. The second one is don't use a trauma kit on the front. Like don't like resurrect them on the front. Just pick them up, bring them to like behind a sandbag or just in a trench somewhere safe, and then you can resurrect them. Besides those two, if you have two people that are both wounded but none of them is healing, bleeding, it doesn't matter which one you do first. On the other hand, if you're being healed by a medic, if you have you don't have limited supply. Like bandages and blood plasma more like super often. And again, even if you do have limited supply, just heal everyone until you run out. There is no like a pick and choose. If you are an infantryman and you're being healed, don't just stand around doing nothing. Just crouch and aim your rifle at the enemy, because if someone comes in, the medic cannot do shit and you're both gonna die. But if you're ready, when he comes, the medic can just keep healing you while you're still fighting.
Don't forget about more heavy wounded guys.
The critical wooden soldiers.
Yeah, critical.
Basically, when you die, there's a small chance you leave a critical wooden soldier. You can load them in your shoulders or in an ambulance, and then if you bring them to a hospital or field hospital, you can deposit them inside, and they are turned back into shirts. This is basically a way to reduce the amount of shirts that are being consumed in the front.
How much shots do we
I've
have
got a question,
now from the one critical?
Depends. Depends on the spot.
6, normally in the field hospital. It's
If you put them in the field hospital, submit large item, not the patient. I found out this yesterday.
Yeah. One soldier gives you 6 shirts.
How do you be a good spotter?
Or do they change it?
Wait, what was the question? I couldn't hear. How to build what?
To be a good spotter? Or do they change it to 6? They give you 12 shirts, not 6, I think. Or do they change it? That's my
No, it used to be 12, now it's
Yeah,
6.
it
Acid
depends.
Monkey, could you ask Acid Monkey one more time with that question? He sounds like potato.
Okay. Yeah, how to be a frontline spotter. You get binoculars. Okay, so you get binoculars and you go to this thing called Foxhole Artillery Calculator on Google. There's also an app for your phone, and you look at the enemy position, you look at where your gun is, all of this without moving, and then you put those numbers in the calculator, and the calculator is going to tell you what you need to put in the gun. So then you just like call your gunner and you're like, yo, put these numbers in, and then he fires, and then before you tell him, make sure you calculate the wind. So basically, first you calculate normally, and then if the wind is pushing the shell to the left, then you give it a little bit less azimuth. You get the idea, or more azimuth, whatever, it depends. After that, you tell him to fire once. When he fires, you see where the shell landed, and you're like, okay, a little bit more to the right, a little bit more to the left, more distance, whatever. You just adjust. For the storm cannon in specific, there's a calculator for the wind, but I don't have it. I don't know how it works because I'm not a storm cannon user. And neither are you gonna be. Like you're only gonna use the storm cannon for like in a clan, so they will teach you. Jesus, you don't need to fucking put caps lock. I would like to know why don't everyone push with nades. Normally you just don't have them, or people just don't think about that really. But yeah, you pushing with nades, it's really efficient. Yep, nades are really strong. I 100% agree.
That's more like a personal preference, to be honest. It's people.
Someone spam the QnA. Come on, someone ask what we're doing. Come on, someone spam the QnA.
When should you destroy a bridge?
Okay, so in general, when you're in defensive and the enemy is on the attack, you want to destroy the bridge to prevent them from easily crossing or from them to bring in armor. So yeah, normally if you're in a defensive. Sometimes people are going to rebuild the bridge after they get like a big number of players in, and this is not always worth it, but I'm not going to go into too much detail.
It's also worth it to destroy the bridge once enemy armor has crossed the river if you have satchels to trap on your side of the bridge.
Yeah, you can basically cut their retreat. So like if they cross the bridge, then you destroy it. But this is really hard because you need to go behind enemy lines. So they cross the bridge first, then you destroy it, and now they are stuck. You'd like to know what? Are you gay? Let me check. No, I don't think I am.
He had a position on femboys earlier that wasn't very gay, so I can second that.
How do we win? So there is. You're a fucking officer cadet. How do we win? There's capitals. So each region has its capital. When you control 19 capitals, you win. However, if the nuke has been used to permanently destroy towns, then the number 19 can be lower. But in general, you need 19 capitals. To know who has won, like the previous wars, go to Foxhole stats. Yeah, we haven't won yet. The war has not even finished yet. They were memeing. But the Foxhole stats would tell you who won every fucking war in the game. Why did I say fucking? I don't know.
How do you deploy? Head over to the hangar or to the beach that says
12
deploy.
seconds later.
Yes.
Giant deploy fucking sign on the map, on the floor. Okay, guys.
The people, they're close.
It was a pleasure. Like this is so many. I'm gonna take a second screenshot. Well, no. Before was more people. I don't know. Whatever.
You should do farm ranks. Make it much more cooler. Guys, come on, farm ranks. Line up.
They're already kind of lined up. Sure. If you make a really cool formation, with like I don't know, like 5 people here and another one there, then I'll send it to the devs. Come on. If you make it cool. If you don't make it cool, it won't be on the for the dev.
If you make
okay, that's good enough, I guess.
Like one person here to make it like what they call this trial.
Spam 7.
We have so many people here. Why don't we like do an operation or something?
Okay, I have to go. To salute you, press 8. I have to go, sadly.
To the front.
Come back when you're gay.
Getting hood.
Also,
Alright, guys, disperse.
Also, just another tip. Before you deploy into the main area, try not to like cause too much excessive friendly fire, or the moment you deploy, you get weapons restricted in the home region, you will also be weapons restricted in the main zone. So, you know, try not to like disable vehicles.
And don't forget, do not eat yellow snow.
And don't eat baby, guys. Don't eat babies.
Eat babies, don't worry
It's a
about
quality thing.
What the actual fuck?
Where are we deploying, boys?
Smoke weed every day.
The one spot in Stone Cradle where we can.
Yeah, Roger.
That
Let's
seems
do it.
absurd.
I wouldn't do that.
I just did it.
Oh, God. Yes, Stone Cradle's a mess. And we're losing other fronts as well.
Ein Hermann.
Let's go.
Where did everyone deploy to?